Is a review of the Honda XL750 Transalp. Now, many are saying it's a scaled-down version of its African twin, but the spec sheet actually suggests otherwise.
Right. So what exactly can and can't the new XL750 Transalp do? We're about to find out. Overdrive, as usual, gets you the final verdict. Take a look.
Now, when Honda came out with the XL750 Transalp, like many of you, I was really stoked because just look at it. It looks like a baby Africa twin, right? But then again, a closer inspection of the spec sheet revealed that it's not going to be really on par with the CRF 1100L, which is the Africa twin, on sheer capability alone. And that left a big question mark looming above what this motorcycle is actually capable of doing. But that was until now, because Honda have actually given us the motorcycle. They have a couple of vehicles in their media fleet, and we have it for a limited amount of time. And I am going to gauge what I can and tell you all about it. Now, before we get to that, if you haven't already, do subscribe to the Overdrive YouTube and social media channels for some great automotive content. And don't forget to hit that like button once you're done watching the video. Now, let's get right to it. The XL750 Transalp looks absolutely brilliant. Okay, not so much so in this dark color, but in the white paint scheme with the red and blue streaks and those gold rims, man, it looks drop dead gorgeous in my opinion. It looks proportionate, not too big, but not overly imposing either, fitting for a mid-size multi-cylinder ADV bike. Now, although some might find this one to look rather simple, well, the features list that this bike houses says otherwise. Now, the Transalp comes with a 5-inch TFT screen that it shares with the Honda NX500, but this one, well, it has a lot of more information for you to configure and read out on the go. Now, you have 4 themes, you have 4 ride modes, you have settings of engine power, engine braking, traction control, ABS, and there's one ride mode where you can configure all that and personalize it to your riding style and liking. The lovely thing about the Transalp screen is that the display is crisp and all the important information that you want to be shown is laid out clearly. Better still is that you have that one user ride mode to configure things the way you like. But there is a bit of a catch when it comes to the bike switchgear. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of buttons for you to fiddle and toy around with on this motorcycle. But then again, the actual layout of the buttons takes some getting used to, because some of the switchgear is a bit oddly positioned, like the indicator and the hazard light switch, as you can see, not in the ideal position as per like the regular standard bikes that we have out here in the country. That might take a bit of time to get accustomed to. What won't, however, is the actual bike itself, because it's just so easy, comfortable and well balanced. Now, yes, the seat height of the Transalp is tall, but once you're actually on board, it feels like one of those motorcycles where you're seated within rather than on it. And as you can see, the rider triangle very upright and the padding keeps things nice and comfortable. One of the highlights of this motorcycle is how well balanced it feels. Whether you're riding fast, you're riding slow, braking hard, standing, sitting, well, it just allows you to see the obstacle in front, react to it and get past it with a calculated precision. Honda have really mastered the center of gravity with this one. It doesn't feel top heavy when you tip it over, and that on its own allows you to really feel a great connection with this bike at all times, at least when you're riding it. And when you're not riding it, even walking this 208 kg stock bike around isn't a big task. But the best part about this motorcycle, it has to be the 755cc twin-cylinder engine. Now, it's one of the new parallel twin engines from Honda, and it's the same one that powers the latest Hornet 750 elsewhere in the world. So, you definitely know that this one has got some sting. Now, the 755cc liquid-cooled parallel twin that powers the Transalp is a real treat because it makes a good amount of power. That's around a little over 91 PS of max power, 75 Nm of max torque, and being a 270-degree crank, well, it makes most of that power in the mid and top end of the spectrum, but there is a decent amount of grunt low down the power band as well. Now, it's not exactly vibe-free, but it does have a nice amount of grunt to it, and that gives this bike a real good character. Out on the road is just a real treat, and it's just endless joy every time you ring the throttle in the right settings, of course. Acceleration is smooth off the line and the clutch is nice and light, which is great for the city. And once the roads open up a bit and you dive into the mid-range, well, that's when you'll have yourself a big old bag of fun. Power build-up to the mid-range is fairly good, and after that, this motor just wants to spread its wings and take flight. Great fun if you fancy yourself a brisk ride. You can even hear nice clicks each time you work the gearbox, and it gives you this nice crisp feeling overall. The parallel twin engine is just so linear in its delivery. There are no surprising spikes in power, so it isn't a task when you throw the hammer down at any point. It's so involving out on the road. It feels like you're hitting the nail on the head each and every time you whack the throttle open. And I absolutely love the fact that you have engine braking settings on this bike, because it allows you to be just that little more at ease depending on the tricky weather or kind of terrain that you're going through. Yes, and even that boomy exhaust note from the N-Can, well, that enhances an already thoroughly delightful ride experience.